It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
We're back for yet another week of A Cup of Coffee with Wild Will and Uncle Chris right here from Slumberland at the lake. And Chris, you're going to have a special guest coming in.
Yeah, Suits for Soldiers. They've got an event coming up, and what a great event this is going to be. We'll tell you all about that.
That, plus we're going to look back at the mini Shootout. Great event to kick off the Shootout week, which, listen, it's Shootout week. The Shootout's this weekend.
Yeah.
Of course, the street party's Wednesday. It might have already come and gone by the time you see this, man. It is here, so we'll talk about that. Plus, do you remember that there was a local guy from Versailles who had faced federal charges for the January 6th, what they called the insurrection of the Capitol?
Right, yeah.
All cases dropped by a federal judge. We'll tell you about that. Plus, we have a COMC hometown hero, and we'll talk about football season. We got high school, we got college, we got coaches show, and we got NFL season. I'm about to get that crown, winning the Pick'em championship.
Sure.
Right?
Right. I might let you win just because I'm a nice guy. Who did I let win last year? You know.
Kevin Hornick's the champion.
I let Kevin win.
And I hear Kevin text me, and he said he had a trophy made, and he's got the winners from each year kind of put on there.
Okay.
So we're going to have a trophy to show everybody soon.
Nice.
And is your name on it anywhere?
It is. I won 2 years ago.
Because we all let you win, right?
I could have won by more, but I let a couple of games get away just to make it get close.
You wanted to keep it close and interesting.
That's
and fun.
right.
All right, on the other side of the break with Daryl Cunningham, we're going to have Jeannie Rackers with Suits for Soldiers. We'll be right back after this.
Hey everybody, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. We're kicking off our Labor Day sale. I would say come in and check out the hot deals, but I don't even think we want to kid about the heat. We have lots of cool deals for every room in your house, special financing, delivery to the entire lake area. Come see us, Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
And welcome back to Cup of Coffee. You can see Wild Will has left the set, and it is Jeannie Rackers joining us. Suits for Soldiers. How's Jeannie today?
Great. Thank you very much.
Good. You
Thanks
bet.
for having us.
Putting up with this heat.
Trying to.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Okay, so you might not have heard about it. Maybe you did hear about it, but you don't know what it is. Suits for Soldiers. What is Suits for Soldiers?
Suits for Soldiers Lake of the Ozarks is a nonprofit. We received our nonprofit status last year, and we are developed a way to give back to our active military in addition to our veterans, and it's to every line of business or every line of service. So Army, Air Force, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, all of them. So anybody is welcome.
Okay.
What it is, it's a day of celebration where we actually honor our active military and our veterans.
Right.
We give them a suit, a shirt, and so much more. So much more consists of different services that are available to our military that they may not be aware of, or they've never ventured out to go do that.
Right. Okay, so, and everybody thinks usually, think military and suits. We're thinking about men. Do you help service women and stuff?
We do.
Okay.
And that's the very neat part about it. Suits for Soldiers was designed to actually provide dress attire to our military, whether it be for a wedding or a funeral or something along that line. But it's just a day of celebration where our military can actually be dressed their best.
Okay. So, and you say it's a celebration, so this is kind of like a party thing? Is that what this is?
Absolutely. It's very much a very upbeat celebration for our military. So our military come in, they get registered, they go through different tables of vendors and also services that are available to them, and we get them fitted for a suit, we get them measured, and then we help them locate a suit and a shirt, both men's and women's attire.
Yeah.
And then we also have live entertainment, and we have different services that actually provide a big, like the VA Mobile is here from Columbia that day. We have the DAV that has their stuff set up. We have a live band. We have food. It's just a wonderful day of celebration.
It sounds like a great time. And this is all at the Elks Lodge in Osage Beach?
It is, and it's free to all of our veterans, there's no charge. We
Okay.
have wonderful sponsors and donors that we have great door prizes. We also have raffle items. Last year we had some very cool raffle items, and we expect to do that again this year.
Cool. Okay, so you mentioned the sponsors. You couldn't do this without some really good sponsors. So who are some of your main sponsors?
So our 4-star sponsor this year is the DAV, Disabled American Veterans. We also have Big Thunder Marina. We have, of course, the Elks Lodge. We have Honest Abe's Home Services. We have Infused Credit Union, the Jordan Salisbury team. We also have Walmart is a huge sponsor for us in Camdenton. They've been incredibly gracious. United Veterans Benefits Agency, they are also an agency that is a service, but they're also sponsors to us.
Right.
And then we have a ton of other services, Summit Natural Gas, Ameren, Missouri, Como Connect.
Right.
I mean, the list just kind of goes on and on.
Well, it's good when the list is so long that you can't even mention them all.
Yeah.
That means you're doing something right, and we've got some great people in the community helping out. So, and speaking of that, do you need help? Do you need volunteers and
Absolutely.
workers to help you do this?
We need everything. We need battle buddies to take the soldiers around to find their suits. We need help with serving the food, setting up, cleaning up. We have golf carts that take our military around to the lower side of the Elks Lodge if they need assistance walking.
Right.
So we have a golf cart crew. We have the whole day planned out, and it's a fabulous day.
Okay.
And the Elks Lodge has been amazing.
So this is Saturday, September 30th. So you still have a little time to plan for this and do it. Saturday, September 30th, Elks Lodge in Osage Beach. If folks want more information, how do they get that information? Where do they go?
You can go to suitsforsoldierslakeoftheozarks.com, which is our website. You could register there to volunteer, register for a suit if you're military.
Okay.
You do need to bring your DD-214 with you or a military ID when you check in. But yes, we need volunteers. Our sponsors have a cutoff date of Friday. And then we also have our volunteers that we are definitely needing a lot of volunteers.
Okay.
And you
Great.
also get a free t-shirt.
And
Sorry.
that's free t-shirt. Where's my t-shirt? So this is Saturday, September 30th. Write that down. Elks Lodge, Suits for Soldiers, and Genie Rackers. So if folks need more information, they need to go to suitsforsoldiers.lakeoftheozarks.com.
Correct.
Right?
Or they can call Pauline Heiser at 573-525-8808, or myself, Jeannie Rackers, at 573-268-6874.
Okay. All right. Suits for Soldiers. Jeannie, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
All right.
it.
Something else big that's coming up is the Wiener Nationals. Here's some more info on that. It's Lake TV's biggest event ever. It's the 2023 Wiener Nationals live on Lake TV, Sunday, September 3rd from the Moberly Motorsports Park. Join Scott Bloomquist and Scotty Cook for an unforgettable night of super late model racing and family fun entertainment you won't want to miss. A little of this, that, and a whole lot more. Proceeds from this year's event will all be going to Lizzie's Walk of Faith Foundation. The 2023 Wiener Nationals on Sunday, September 3rd lives on Lake TV.
All right, as we welcome you back, you saw that event promo. Man, I'm so pumped for Wiener Nationals on Sunday, September 3rd, right here on Lake TV.
Huge, huge event. And we are so excited about it too here at Lake TV. It's going to be, I think this is going to be a great thing, not just this year, but many years moving forward.
Yeah, it's so much room to grow, an event you want to be at. And if you can't be there in Moberly at the Moberly Motorsports Park, make sure you watch it on all Lake TV platforms. We'll start with our pre-race show at 4:30 that Sunday, and racing won't conclude till 10 or 10:30 that night. So buckle up for an action-packed night of racing, be entertainment, hot dog eating contest. There will be a burnout competition. There's all kinds of cool stuff.
Well, and I think for the first time in the history of a long time, it's not you and me doing the play-by-play and stuff. It's guys who really know what's going on with auto racing.
Way overdue.
You know?
People have been begging for that for football for years. They're like, we get some coffee hosts that know about coffee.
No, they love you, man. And
That's
by the way, high school football starting this week, you and Hall of Famer Mike Bissell with the call of the games. I'm so excited to watch you guys on Friday night.
This is why this guy's so excited, because he doesn't sleep or get any time off. And Mrs. Uncle C said, listen, during football season, I want you at home watching the football game with me. So you get your Friday nights off, and in comes Mike Bissell, 45-year career, really well known in the Eldon and Versailles markets where he's been his entire career. And actually, I talked with Rod Smith yesterday, KRCG, another legend, and he was asking where we're going to be Friday. And I said, we'll be at Camden. And he's like, oh, I'll be there too. And you guys got Bissell, right? And I was like, we got Mike Bissell. He goes, man, that is going to be crazy. So I told him, I got to make sure I get a picture with Mike and with Rod.
How cool.
Two guys I grew up really idolizing, and
Yep.
now the reality is get to work with those guys. It's kind of a dream come true.
If you get that picture, we need to show it on Cup of Coffee next week. That
Yeah.
would be so awesome.
Rod and Mike, and I'm going to see if they'll let me be in the picture with them.
That'd be good.
You know?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we'll feel sorry enough for you, Will. Go on, get in here. We'd love it. But that's going to be really cool. And yeah, really, high school football season, it's here today, Tuesday of this week, already airing right now as you're watching this, the coaches show that you guys shoot on Mondays every single week throughout the season. You have Coach Parr Pitts, you have Coach Shannon Jolly, and I got to brag on you guys because Coach Shannon Jolly called me Monday when you guys got done with me. He says, man, how did you get so lucky? You have the two most talented guys at the lake working on your team. He goes, those guys are so sharp. He goes, I don't know, Will. He goes, I don't know how you fooled them, but he goes, man, those guys are awesome.
I'd give it to Andy, our director of photography. Andy is the amazing genius behind everything that we do on Lake TV.
True.
Yeah.
It's true. And so Coach Jolly was loving that. But we're so excited because high school football, not only do we have good teams in the local area with the coaches show, but there's going to be some great content for you guys this year. We're going to have highlight videos again that we haven't had in a couple years.
Yeah.
So some great stuff. And a couple of these teams, our local teams, have an opportunity to make a run this year, we feel like. And so we'll see how far our local teams take us this season.
Yeah, and we did the first coaches shows with Osage coach Shannon Jolly and Camdenton coach Parr Pitts. And both of them, I think, as all coaches do going in there a little bit, I don't know, we might be a little too young or we might be a little too small, kind of hedging their bets on that. But yeah, I think both these teams are going to be good. They're going to be hard to beat, and I think they're going to get better and better and better in the years to come.
Wouldn't you just love to see some high school coach come out before this season and be like, oh yeah, we're going undefeated.
Yeah.
The conference sucks. The competition sucks. My boys are ready. They're skilled. They're great. We're going undefeated, and don't get in our way in the process. Wouldn't that be something if you had a coach come out and actually take that stance, put that target on their back?
I think the only coach that I've met that would do that may be Bob Shore. I mean, he was so confident in his teams that he kind of would come out and do that. It's like, I don't see anybody on the schedule that can beat us this year. Bob Shore is just a great, great coach.
And he was really right.
Yeah,
he
was.
For so long.
Won 5 state championships.
That'd be something though, because in the day it is about, you want to respect the opponent, you want to not be overconfident, but I want to see somebody come in and be like, no, you wait till you guys see my team line up on offense. You won't believe this spread offense we're about to roll out. My quarterback, you seen his arm?
Right.
That would be refreshing. It'd be funny. Probably not going to happen at the high school level, but hey, so looking back at Mini Shootout, the annual Lake of the Ozarks Mini Shootout, a lot of you guys probably know, but if you didn't, the weekend every year before the shootout, remote-controlled boats hitting speeds of up to 125 miles per hour hit the springs at Hahatonka right there on the lake, and it was a record event over the weekend. They had record attendance of 93 boats representing Texas to Ontario, Canada, and all the states in between. Executive Director Leah Martin says it was such a successful event because of the attendance and a lot of families they saw out there, and you notice a lot of kids now are getting into this. They come one year. I always use George Bogema, back from 2020. He had his grandson out there, and they were looking. It was the first time he had taken his grandson out to the mini shootout, and his grandson said, man, I want one of these, Grandpa.
Yeah.
And over the next year, they got a boat. He trained him up. His son Jason was involved because it's Jason's son, and this year at the shootout, the Spouses Selling Houses red boat with Jason and George's grandson were there, and that's a neat story, of course, because, we lost George a little over a year ago. And so that tradition started from coming the first time with your family, and then you get into it and interested, and then we see that more and more now with these kids at the mini shootout. It's so family friendly, and the important part, the top gun this year, Kevin Cram, he ran 119 miles per hour. You see it right there. It was one of the first runs of the day on Saturday. Never saw that speed beat, but that was 6 miles short of the mini shootout record of 125 miles per hour from a few years ago. But 119, Kevin Cram, your top gun, the Lake of the Ozarks mini shootout in the books. But we're seeing some of those videos that Andrew captured, some of those wrecks in slow motion. I know the coolest content
Love it. Just love watching those things. And it's, to me, it's amazing how seriously those people take that. You know, some of those people that show up, they've been planning for this all year long. They've been working on those boats and, you know, trying to get everything in line, and for one weekend of running those mini boats. It's greatness.
And we'll see that event continue to grow. Just remember that the shootout takes place the last weekend of August every year, and that mini shootout is the weekend right before that. Friday, they do the meet and greet at Bridal Cave, and that's a lot of fun as well. All right, so as we move ahead, we have the federal judge dismisses case from the January 6th, what they called an insurrection, against the local man. The Versailles man was facing serious charges. He was charged with his involvement in the January 6th events at the U.S. Capitol, but he had that case dismissed. Matthew Loganville was indicted on 5 counts related to that day. Just crazy, 5 counts.
Yeah, tampering with a witness, victim, or informant, remaining in a restricted building or grounds, which is, of course, was the Capitol, disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds, disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Those were the 5 charges against him. Loganville's case was dismissed by U.S. District Judge Amy Berman on Wednesday, August 16th, after a judge determined that Loganville's right to a speedy trial had been violated. And this is happening with almost all of these January 6th things. It's like they have nothing real to charge or prove against these people, so they're just locking them away, and they're sitting there in prison while the government is just raking them over the coals, basically. And thank goodness for these judges who stepped up finally and said, this is not right. This is not a speedy trial. There's nothing to these charges. And so they dropped it, which, thank God for that, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's some pretty scary stuff if the government can lock you up, throw away the key, and not follow through on charges like this.
And we're talking about literally this guy from Versailles was at this event on camera, and that was the extent, because he was on property. All of those 5 counts came from being there, and there being video clips, because you know, this is such a wild time, but to see this was potentially going to lock somebody up for many, many years.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, as you alluded to, for these federal judges, because you're seeing this happen with more and more of these cases. I mean, what were they planning on doing to all of these people that were at the Capitol on January 6th? They're going to lock them away for good and, like you said, throw away the key?
Yeah, and they would if certain people hadn't made a big deal out of this. But they're charged with these various trespass offenses for entering the Capitol on January 6th, and just let them sit there, and nobody was hurt. You know, nobody was harmed, so there was really no reason for this. But, you know, we saw that circus of the, what did they call it, the January 6th
insurrection.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, and they're still not releasing the tapes. You know, I mean, I don't understand that. But they did have a note. The case was dismissed by the judge without prejudice, which means the charges could be refiled against Loganville in the future. So that's a little bit scary.
But they would have a long list of people that have to go after, and I would say the federal government has their hands full based on where the IRS, the CIA, and all these other weaponized agencies are at. That would be probably not wise, but it is our federal government.
It's interesting. I saw, who was it? One of the former leaders of the House who said last week, it was Newt Gingrich is who it was, he said last week, we are in the worst constitutional crisis in our country since the 1850s. And if you think about it, the 1850s, that was a decade just before the Civil War. And if we're back into that constitutional crisis arena, like Gingrich says, then, I mean, obviously we're in a bad position. Our country is in trouble right now, in a really bad position.
Hey, but luckily, even with where the country's at, we still have a lot of really good men and women around us, and that is going to bring in this week's COMC Hometown Hero. It's my good buddy, and we're going to title this one, More Than a Custodian. We're going to highlight Mike Creed. Mike Creed was born and raised in Wichita, Kansas, and he was an outstanding athlete in his day. Lettered in football, basketball, track, and baseball. He had official visits to Iowa, Oklahoma, Mizzou, and he ended up going to play for K-State with Vince Gibson. The basketball coach at K-State was Tex Winter.
Yeah.
Not only did he play football, but his first semester, his freshman year, he tried out for basketball. But Coach Winter took great interest in him and kind of helped him move further along in his football career. Now he's played with quarterback Lynn Dickey.
Yeah, huge name.
Huge name, played in the NFL. I believe he played for the Packers.
I think so, yeah.
And Mike, in his time, his two biggest games came with K-State against Mizzou. He had a game-winning touchdown of 20 yards on a 3rd and 15 that sealed the deal.
Against Mizzou?
Against Mizzou
Wow.
back in 1970. And then in 71, Mike had 2 scores and over 100 yards in the 28-21 K-State victory over Mizzou.
Wow.
So in 70 and 71, he was like Lynn Dickey's top target. And that's not the reason that he's so special, though. The reason that he's so special is because Mike now, after he's retired, he serves as the maintenance and the custodian man at the church at Osage Hills.
Oh, wow.
He is full-time. He treats it like it's the most important thing of his day. He takes great pride in being the first one there to greet you upon getting there, the last one to leave. Even at our wedding that we had at the church, you know, he was there to help set up, tear down, clean, whatever. If it takes place and involves Osage Hill, Mike takes ownership on it. And outside of that, he is such a family man. He's married to his wife, Shelly. They've been married for over 50 years.
Wow.
They got married in 1970. The peak of Mike's playing days at K-State, right?
Yeah.
It was a good time to be Mike Creed because Shelly's way out of his league. let me
Aren't they
tell ya.
all? Yeah, absolutely.
Shelly now serves on the school board with Camdenton, Shelly Creed. She's been a big part of that new regime that kind of has brought Camdenton back to prominence. They've got 3 children, Becca, Abby, and Griff, but 12 grandchildren, and here's where it gets great. All of his grandkids, Mike essentially plays dad number 2 to. He's got the Nimrods, Becca, who married Jonathan. They got Ayana, Elliott, and Chaz. Chaz plays football at the University of Tennessee, and he is a starting slot receiver this year
Wow.
as a redshirt sophomore.
Wow.
Then Abby, who we know, and her husband Martin, they've got Dorothy, Rue, Creed, and Beatrice. Creed's only in 8th grade, and he had just hit his growth spurt. You see a photo here of Grandpa Mike working with him on field at Jaws of Death. That's going to be the Camdenton Lakers quarterback in a couple years. Creed, and then you've got Griff and Missy, who got Kylie, Melissa, Amber, Delaney, and Daniel. And I'm telling you, I think that Elliot, Chaz's brother, he plays at like South Dakota State. He plays Division I football as well.
They play good football
The
there.
family is just loaded with athleticism. But someone asked, when I sent this out to Shelly to give me some help with it, I asked for just a brief bio, and they put it together like this. Graduated Wichita North High School in '67, all-state in multiple sports, highly recruited in football, baseball, basketball. He was the speaker at Wichita Mayor's Prayer Breakfast back in the 70s. In '67, graduated high school, graduated K-State University in '72, played 4 seasons with K-State, and yes, the big win was with the 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Owner of a janitorial service in KC and traveled and worked for U.S. Ceramic, employing numerous students across the country and employees. So after business got over, settled down here at the lake, got plugged into Osage Hills, and now for Mike Creed and Shelly Creed, it's all about their extended family and their church family, and of course, Shelly with the school district. So this week's hometown hero become one of my great friends, such a great guy, Mike Creed. Thanks for all you do, Mike. Thanks to Shelly for helping us put this together, and such a big family, but that's what you love to see when it's all about the family. You got all those kids and grandkids.
Yep.
And pretty special.
Back to the, salt of the earth thing, it's people like this that make everything go. And, it's like the glue behind the scenes that keeps everything together.
Yeah, and they're well known. Like Shelly, she reminds me of you, regularly handwritten thank you cards all the time out to people, which is such a lost art, something I love that you do. Nothing like getting a handwritten thank you card, and I've gotten a handful from Shelly, and one was a nice letter. I was crying reading it. I mean, just the type of people they are, making differences in people's lives, and that's why Mike Creed is this week's Central Ozarks Medical Center hometown hero. We love you, Mike. And last thing about him is he just had a brain tumor removed about 8 weeks ago.
Wow.
He was supposed to take off a lot more time than he did, but I think it was about 5 weeks later he was back at church because he couldn't stay away.
Wow.
You know, so, and he's on the mend, doing great. You wouldn't even know it, so he's pretty special indeed. All right, so as we move ahead and look at some quick things going on around the lake, we talked about Shootout coming up this weekend. Man, anything you're looking towards or looking ahead on with Shootout?
I'm really interested to see if American Ethanol is going to be able to do it again as Top Gun. I'm kind of surprised, actually, that American Ethanol is able to do that year after year when you got, you know, huge, powerful boating companies right here at the lake that haven't been able to knock them off. You know, so I'll be interested to see what happens there. I always love watching the pontoons.
Yeah.
Because I've got a pontoon, you know, and those pontoons get up and go,
Yeah, they
man.
do.
I mean, those are pretty cool. Of course, last year you had the guy that fell out of the pontoon, right? Which was weird, and it's like going in circles, and that was funky though, but great video for us. you
Yeah.
know, so yeah, it was. I'm really looking forward to watching the great coverage on Lake TV right here, baby.
Yeah, I'm with you. American Ethanol, let's look at that for a minute. You know, we had just posted a video of Spirit of Qatar, their 244-mile run from 2014.
Wow.
You know, that was a mile course, and back in 2017, they shortened it to 3/4 of a mile. And so American Ethanol, 8 years in a row now, 15 they ran 2:08 on that mile course, 2016 2:17. Now in 2017, the year that it was on the shortened course, 2:04. They did that again in 2018. 2019 down to 2:01, 2020 2:02, 2021 193. Last year they crushed their 3/4 of a mile course record. They hit 2:07.
Yeah.
That's never been done. And so this year we're interested to see, can they go faster? They're gunning for it. You know, we saw a video of them leaving home, headed to the Lake of the Ozarks. We saw some video of them testing their rig. Let's make no qualms about it. American Ethanol is the fan favorite rig at Lake of the Ozarks Shootout. It's a 51-foot Mystic catamaran. It's owned by Don Onken. Of course, the driver, Tony Battiato, and throttleman John Kosker. As likable as it gets in the boating industry. And they have those quadruple turbine engines powered by ethanol. And I'm going to be interested to see if they can't top 2:07. And in the video, you see a lot of haters, a lot of comments like, I'm tired of seeing the same boat go. Can anyone give them a run for their money? Well, we welcome you to try, because you have Performance Boat Center and all of these big boating teams. They're trying,
Yeah.
you know, to find a way to go faster than that on a 3/4 of a mile course. But Don Onken and his crew have found a way to do it. Now, I did hear there might be some competition this year for American Ethanol. Not to spoil any surprises, but there are a few teams that are talking some smack behind the scenes and saying they're going to end it at 8 consecutive years for American Ethanol. So make sure you're watching the Lake of the Ozarks Shootout this weekend on Lake TV. Saturday and Sunday starts at 8:30 a.m. And one thing to note is Sunday at 8:30, that's when the PWCs run. We were with Mike and James Myers, the father-son duo that won last year. Mike went 93. That was 2 miles short of the course record on
Wow.
a PWC
Yeah.
of 95. So James's son hops on and goes 97, 98, and 99
Wow.
to end the day with the top 3 speeds all time. And this year, they're gunning for over 100. They went 3 triple digits.
On a jet ski.
And it's not a jet ski. It's a Yamaha Wave Runner.
Yamaha Wave Runner.
Wave
okay.
Runner, and it's got a turbo. They
Yeah.
manipulated the whole. It's got a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engine that they added a turbo. Now those come with, you can buy that rig right now at Certike Yamaha. It's going to come with a supercharger, though not a turbocharger. But I want to see that rig. Can they
Yeah.
get triple digits?
I mean, that's cool. Those, like, I love watching the pontoons. Those are amazing. It's like motorcycles out on the water, basically, is what they are.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also coming up, we got Shootout. We told you about Winter Nationals. We told you a little bit about football, but it's going to be Rolla at Camdenton this Friday night. Now, next Friday works out perfect. We got Moberly at Osage.
Yep.
So the next 2 weeks. Don't forget the coaches show is running. And speaking of all the exciting stuff going on, Lake TV has so much great content, whether it's on social media channels from all these reels we've got, behind the scenes looks. We want to remind you guys to go join the Lake TV Shootout coverage page.
Yep.
Because this weekend, we're going to have every single run posted individually right there to that Facebook group. So you're going to want to go join that group. Make sure you get the insight. We've had all kinds of great coverage on that group so far.
How can they find that group?
You search Facebook, Lake TV Shootout coverage, or if you go to Lake TV Facebook page, you'll see we've shared numerous things from there, and you can go right to that page, join it. That's all you need to do, and you'll be notified anything that's posted there.
So cool, man. Exciting. It's here, man.
It's here. Don't forget about our doc series as well, In the Thick
Oh,
of Things. Episode number 8 this Thursday night. As for Uncle C, I'm Wild Will. Have a safe shootout weekend. We'll see you guys next week.